Welcome to 3 Questions, where critical thinking is king, and my opinions and research are only here to support your understanding and learning. Hey, I'm your host, Meghann, and I'm so honored you clicked on 3 questions today. So, let's talk about your eyes and why they do more than just see things, okay? So my first question today is, are your eyes disrupting your movement? Just think about that for a moment, and you might be thinking, no, I have 20/20 vision. Everything's perfect there. Or you might be thinking, yeah, if I don't have my glasses, I can't see shit, I can't do shit. It's a mess. Or you might be thinking, no, I actually prefer to close my eyes when I move. And I move better when I have my eyes closed. All very important things. And let's kind of get into it a little bit to, make you maybe a little more excited about your eyes. All right. So I want you today to think of your eyes as the iPhone camera to your brain. Okay. So when we're taking pictures, like everybody has a camera now. So when you're taking a picture, you know immediately if it's a good picture, right? You'll be like, oh God, why am I making that face? Or, somebody walked into it. But with our eyes, you might not realize how shitty that picture is. Now, let me explain a little further. So what you're actually seeing right now is not the only information your brain is getting. Kind of crazy. So our eyes take in a ton of information. Okay, and then our brain, very simply, I'm simplifying a very complex process, but it basically filters out, creates a picture, and that is what you see. Now, sometimes based off light, other factors, the picture might not be clear no matter how good your eyes are or how good your brain's processing is, okay? So think about our iPhone. Right now, I want you to take your phone, and if you're listening to this on the phone, I don't know if you can take a picture and listen to a podcast. We'll soon find out. Take a picture. Look at it, okay? Now I want you to shake your hand while you're taking the picture. And I want you to tell me if that picture is good. Now, some of you might be like, no, Meghann, I was moving my hand. How could it be a clear picture? And some of you are like, girl, I've got the latest technology, the newest phones, that I could be doing a cartwheel or shaking my hand like a shake weight, and it'll still be a clear picture. So basically, depending on your phone's processing and the equipment it has, some of your picture will be good and some will be bad. Now, why does this matter? Like, why should we care about our eyes? Well, there's 3 major neurological systems that determine our balance. Okay, so you might be like, I'm 25, my balance is perfect. Well, you're going to be an older person one day, and your balance is going to be shit, and you're going to think, God, I wish I would have listened to that obnoxious Meghann who was talking about my eyes when I was 25. Okay, so balance isn't just standing on one leg. We need to be balanced in order to walk. Like walking is just a single leg stance repeatedly, right? So you need balance to walk. And those 3 systems are our visual, vestibular, our inner ear, and our proprioception. So basically like where your brain knows where you are in space, okay? So if your eyes are shit or not able to get a good picture, or your brain isn't able to process a good picture, that is going to affect your balance. I'll never forget, I had this client, and this story is kind of twofold. She came to me post-stroke. She knew I was kind of a neuro movement specialist. And we did a great movement session. But I was kind of like, oh, I feel like I did some basic stuff. I don't know if she's going to come back. That same woman wrote me an email and was like, oh my God, that was the best hour of my life. I can feel my blood flowing. Okay? So lesson number 1 is, you don't have to be doing crazy shit to impress people. At the end of the day, people want results. She felt better. She felt her blood flowing. That was amazing. And number 2, she asked me, she's like, do you think I should get cataract surgery? Now, my response was like, you have cataracts? That's great. Okay, obviously I didn't want the woman to have cataracts, but what was interesting is she came to me to improve her balance, and she had cataracts. So just by getting the cataract surgery, her visual system is going to be working better, processing better information. So her balance is going to improve just by getting the cataract surgery. Now, Okay, if the cataract surgery goes wrong, I understand. There's more nuance to that. But why I was excited was if we can just improve her visual system, her balance could improve. But be honest, do you really think about eye exercises when you're thinking about balance? No, you think about movement, standing on one leg, maybe standing on a Bosu, having people throw shit at you. And what's so interesting is standing on an unstable surface just trains your brain how to respond to that unstable surface. My rule of thumb is your brain has to respond to everything. And being on like a Bosu or a balance pad, that's not bad shit. Keep doing it. But that isn't going to necessarily improve your balance because you don't walk on a Bosu. You walk on flat surfaces. I'm going to do a whole episode about the feet, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but our feet are not designed to walk on flat surfaces. So if you want better balance, you better train on flat ass surfaces. Okay? Now, if you're like, should I be wearing my orthotics? I don't know. Are you ever barefoot? Wear your orthotics, don't wear your orthotics. We'll talk about that in another episode. For now, can we stick to the eyes, please? Okay. All right. So how do you know if your eyes are disrupting your movement? I'm going to ask you to do something right now. I'm all about implementation. Talk is cheap. Get up and do a squat. Just do a squat. Don't think, just do a squat. Okay? Now, get back up. I would like you to look down. Now, did you drop your head when you looked down? Just take note. Did you just look down with your eyes? Whichever one you did, I want you to do again. So look down. And now I want you to keep your eyes on that visual target as you squat. What happened? Okay. 85% of you are going to get deeper in your squat and be like, oh shit. Okay. The other 15%, would that be adding up to 100? I don't know. You'll be like, my squat got worse. Okay. That gives me information about your visual tracking down. Now, if you dropped your head and eyes, that might indicate that you do not have enough stability in your jaw, your face, your cervical spine to move your eyes. Okay? That's another conversation. Now, last but not least, close your eyes. Get back up. You're not done yet. Close your eyes and squat. Which was your best squat? Okay? Now, in this podcast, I don't give you answers. I want you to critically think and know where to look for answers because everybody's brain and body is unique. Now, something I remember, my background is actually sports-specific training. And as a CSCS or kind of former, because I don't really do that anymore, we were always like, it was always like, keep your head up, keep your eyes up when you're squatting. Okay? It was like this posture thing. But what's super interesting is when you squat, if you understand neurology and what's called a vestibular ocular reflex, fancy, you might see it as like a VOR. All that is, so I'm doing it right now. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it's you look at something and you keep your eyes on that something while you move your head. So if I move my head to the left, my eyes go to the right. This is a cool reflex we have so things don't go out of focus. So if you're gazing at a point up top when you're standing and you squat, I don't know anybody, maybe Bo Jackson, has the range of motion in their eyes to look up without overextending the neck. So all you guys and girls trying to lift heavy and squat, do not drop your head, but gaze your eyes down, move towards it. I'm going to change your life. And if you need to look up, okay, some of my football players, like their eyes have to be in certain places. Well, we need to train your eyes to be able to track up like that without moving your head. I am obsessed with Bo Jackson, mostly because of his visual acuity. Like, dude is crazy how he could see the whole field. And it's kind of, if you're not a sports person, just stay with me. I'll be done with this in a second. But like when you're a defender or an offensive person, like think in life, if you're trying to get by to someone, get by someone, whoever moves first kind of loses. And what I mean is if you see me going to the right, well, you're going to go to the right. But if I make a fake and go to the right and then cut to the left, you're already to the right. So if you anticipate where I'm going to go, I've got you. Now, to me, some of the best athletes have the ability I see Patrick Mahomes doing this as well. Dude is looking over there and throws over there. Again, I'd have never talked to Patrick Mahomes, but yo, if you're listening, hit me up. Your visual acuity, love it, and I would love to improve it even more, get you 20 more years. Travis Kelce's a huge dude. So if Mahomes is looking over there, the defense might think that's where he's going, but in his peripheral vision, he can see a big dude get the ball to him. So maybe you're not a sports person. If you are, this is why visual acuity, your visual field, your ability to track, your ability to make your eyes go in the opposite direction of your body is crucial, especially if you want to fake out your defenders. Okay? If you're not a sports person, do you like to walk? Do you like to interact with the world? Well, when you're out in the real world walking, there's visual disturbances everywhere. Someone's going to call your name. You're going to look, right? Have you ever had that experience when a bee flies by you and you're like, ah, right? Freaks you out because something steps into your visual field and startles you, okay? So to close up question 1, are your eyes disrupting your movement? Yeah. Now, to the extent I don't know, I can't see you. But I am telling you that some of the movements that hurt you, it could be an inability of your eyes to mobilize when they need to or stabilize. Okay? We need stability for mobility. And the movement and our ability to stabilize our eyes are directly related to our spine. Okay? So if I'm trying to move my arm and my eyes can't stabilize, that's going to affect my spinal stability, which is going to affect my ability to move my arm. Crazy shit. Don't get overwhelmed. And one thing, I'm going to give an opinion here, but opinions are like buttholes. We all have one. Just doing random eye exercises only give you random results. You heard me. Doing one eye exercise might improve your range of motion, but it's temporary. This shit needs to integrate. And if you want a professional who knows how to do it, go to theneurostudio.com, find a teacher. We got to find the teacher page, or just hit me up. I will find someone to work with you. Okay? Moving on. Do you have a blind spot? Are you a sports car? Are you a Jeep? What kind of car are you? I am a Jeep girl. Always have been. My proudest moment of my life was, and I didn't buy it, I leased it, but still, it was big, a Jeep Wrangler. I always loved a Jeep Wrangler, but I'm a Jeep girl because I like to be up higher, right? I like to kind of see more. Some people like smaller cars, but we know in every car there's a blind spot. So what do we have in cars for blind spots? We have mirrors, but sometimes those mirrors miss the blind spots. So what do you have to do when you see a blind spot? You gotta kind of crank your neck, move your body. You gotta get in position so you can see. And nothing is, scarier than when a car comes into your blind spot. Or, you kind of pull into a lane and you're like, yo, sorry. Okay? So think about your blind spots. Right now, I want everybody to look straight ahead. Find something to look at specifically. Okay? Then I want you to see what you see in your peripheral vision to the left. Can you say exactly what it is? Okay? Now what I want you to do is just turn your head a little bit. Is it easier to see it? This is not a trick question. Yeah. So, blind spots in your visual field are going to affect your movement because the brain is fascinating. Everybody yells at compensation patterns. This is why we're all alive right now. Chill, people. Your car, my Wrangler, can't compensate. If I get a flat tire, I'm screwed. I can't drive. If I get a flat tire, like I stub my toe or I sprain an ankle, I might have like a hitch in my giddy up, but I can still walk, right? I might not be walking well. So humans have this amazing ability to compensate. This is why we don't die. And a lot of times, if we can't compensate, it's kind of when we do die. So don't be pissy about your compensation patterns. And guess what? You go to physical therapy, you go to the doctor to fix your compensation patterns because those start to hurt, right? But the compensation pattern, that pain in your shoulder, you have nothing wrong with your shoulder. That compensation pattern is because you got a blind spot in your left lower quadrant. So you kind of just turn your head a little bit. okay? But by turning the head a little bit, that's going to affect your spinal position, your stability, your eyes tracking. Because even when our head tilts, our eyes are always going to find center. Pretty cool, right? So like, this is also important. Sidebar, if you have scoliosis, oh my God, if you're not looking at scoliosis from a neuro perspective, you are just getting temporary results or results that are limiting. Because scoliosis, our brain is always going to bring our head and eyes to a level playing field. So it's so crucial. I will talk about scoliosis in another episode. But what I want you guys to know today is our visual field and what we see is going to affect how we move. We're just going to compensate a little bit to kind of put ourselves in the best position to see well. I have had multiple concussions. My 2 major concussions were on this lower left side of my head. Okay? So because of that, there's a little bit of compression at the back of my skull. And due to that, it changes a little bit of the muscle tone on my face and how my jaw was moving. This is before I got it addressed. And if I don't get that addressed, my whole face shifts, and that's going to affect, my eyes are going to kind of have to pick up the slack. Okay? If you have a concussion and you're like, ooh, could that be me? Here's what I want you to do. Here's an opinion coming in. Find yourself a DO, a doctor of osteopathic medicine, who does osteopathy. If you live in New Jersey, shout out to Dr. Evan Rubin. He is the best. He's my lifeline. He's a great friend. And him, along with all these neuro strategies, truly saved my life post-concussion. Okay? So if you're still struggling with stuff, maybe I'll do an episode about concussion. But please know that you can do all the eye exercises and vestibular therapy you want. But if they're compensating around things or your body's compensating around eye position, you are only going to get temporary results. Cool? And last but not least, about our blind spots. This is for anybody who's in a car accident or any of my athletes. The first question I ask, did you see it coming? Just based off that answer, I know exactly where to start. So I'm going to leave you with a cliffhanger, and you're going to have to come back in for our second episode about the eyes of dealing with injuries, concussions, and whiplash. Now, question 3. This one is going to get people a little pissy. And man, if I could just change this daily habit, I think, oh my God, I'd be in a better situation. Are your daily habits pissing your eyes off? Does anybody know what daily habit I'm thinking? Scrolling on your phone. So can I do like question 3A or 3B? When you're scrolling on Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're scrolling on, can you see the picture clearly? Yeah. So just think about it. You're going like this. So your eyes, it's almost like a slot machine. So your eyes have to boom, boom. It has to catch that picture. Focus on it. Think about how fast that is happening. That is how freaking remarkable humans are, our brains, our eyes, our optic nerves, all of the above. Freaking nuts. But let me put this in terms you might understand a little bit better, or if I'm already got you, this will get you in a little more. If your eyes are moving that fast so frequently throughout the day, think about it. Laws of specificity, easy for me to say, or like the SAID principle. So do you think that could be affecting your eyes moving slower? Like, what if I just look over there? What if I'm getting up off the couch? What if I'm getting up out of a chair? Okay. I have a lot of clients who, some have POTS, some don't, but that get real dizzy when they stand up. And it's a lot of things, but one thing that's not being looked at is their eyes. Oftentimes when people move, your eyes either move way too fast or way too slow, creating a sensory mismatch that makes your brain go, huh? Okay. Now, if you have POTS, hypermobility, stuff like that, I think episode 1 was about hypermobility, is when you kind of leave your chair, you kind of like disappear to your brain, and your brain doesn't feel where you are until your kind of knees are locked out, you're standing up. Now, if your eyes are set before you stand up, that's more information to your brain. So right now, if you get dizzy when you stand up, disoriented, or you just feel like shit with brain fog, I want you to set your eyes. So if I'm going to stand up, I'm going to pick something to look at, and I'm going to move towards it. Or I'm going to move my head and eyes, and then I'm going to move my body towards it. Set your eyes, and then move your body towards it. So your visual system is dictating where and when you go. Remember, there's 3 systems that determine your balance: visual, vestibular, and proprioceptive. Y'all think what you feel in your body, your muscles, is gospel? It ain't. Okay? It's just a third of the piece of the puzzle. And if I could be so bold, proprioception is often an unreliable ass narrator. Now, your visual system could be an unreliable narrator, but it is much more reliable, because if I'm looking at something, if I'm looking at a wall and the wall is dripping or something's moving, I know something's going on. Either I'm on drugs or my eyes are screwed up, right? So the visual system, if it's an unreliable narrator, we might know. So I'm going to give you 2 things to do so you believe me. Number 1 is I want you to put your thumb out in front of you, okay? And just notice where it is. Close your right eye. Did it move? Close your left eye. Did it move? Majority of people, you'll have one eye that's dominant. So when I close my dominant eye, okay, it will move, the thumb, okay? So don't freak out about which eye is dominant or not. I mean, you can train them. I do a lot of training on this, and I can tell where I am post-concussion symptoms about how much the thumbs move. So what I mean by that is one of your eyes is telling you that limb is over here. One of your eyes is accurate and one of your eyes is not accurate. Your brain takes in all that information, processes it, so you know where to go. This is why if you ever see someone after a brain injury, a stroke, or a concussion, they go to like grab things and they miss. It's because the eyes aren't processing well. Or they might be having double vision because the brain is seeing 2 pictures. It's a little more complicated than that, but think of it like that for now. Cool? So, I hope I got your attention about your eyes. So I'm going to give you one of my favorite things. I call it my Instagram scrolling reset. Okay? So after I scroll, and think about it, we don't really feel great after we scroll. Our anxiety's kind of worse, mostly because our eyes have trouble stabilizing after that. So what I do is I sit, or wherever I am, I even do this lying down, and put my hand on my head. What I do first is I look my eyes up. Do it with me. Now, don't look up so much you feel like you're going to get a headache. Just look up casually and then look down. So you're picking 2 points, yes? Now, look up and hold it. Press your head into your hand and your hand into your head like an isometric. Like I'm almost trying to bring my head up, but I don't. Okay, now relax and then notice you can look up higher. Now, keep your eyes. You have a new target. That's target 1. Go back to target 2. Target 1 up high, target 2 down low. Now, keep looking at target 2. From here, I like to go under my chin. Press your chin into your hand into your chin. Again, isometrically. Now, hand on the head again. See if you can look down more. Look up, look down, look up and hold it. Now from here, put your thumb up where that target is. Now jump to your thumb. And then bring your thumb down slowly and back up. And rest. Okay? Now, if you're thinking, I'm not going to do that after every time I scroll, that's fine. Live with anxiety. Live with shitty eyes that can't stabilize, but don't get mad at me when you get shoulder pain, back pain, or when you go to pick up a pen, your back goes out. All right? Now, you could just do those isometrics, right? Or you can do the smooth tracking. What I want you to do is have your eyes be able to move fast, move slow, do all of the above without losing the integrity of the picture and making the brain's job to process a lot easier. So in summary today, 3 questions. Are your eyes disrupting your movement? Do you have a blind spot? And are your daily habits pissing your eyes off? So number 1, if your eyes are disrupting your movement, find a neuro-trained movement professional. Reach out to me. I will help you. So you can kind of work through this shit. Okay? Number 2, do you have a blind spot? Yeah, we all do. Work on opening your visual field. Work on differentiating eye movement from head movement. So basically, move your eyes without moving your head, and then move your head without moving your eyes. Cool? And number 3, are your daily habits pissing your eyes off? Yeah, but what are you going to do about it? Are you going to complain about it, or are you going to do something? I always say, I don't push people to do anything. I say to my dad all the time, he sprained his ankle so many times his foot's on backwards. I'm like, Dad, I can't have you walking around like that. Ugh, it's a reflection on me. But he doesn't want to do anything about it. So it ain't that bad. Okay? So I'm not telling you not to scroll, but I would like you to try to reset your proprioceptive and visual system so that your eyes can move fast and slow. So hopefully these 3 questions have gotten the mouse and the wheel spinning a little bit more in your brain. Hopefully you're a little bit more excited about your eyes. And at the end of the day, I hope you are thinking about the things that are going wrong in your body and not accepting no for an answer. Anybody who tells you it's impossible is because they've never done it. Don't let them limit you. You got this. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.